that government has put in place and the lockdown, in all honesty, is well intentioned. However, it's not being observed, it's not being obeyed. Why? Because our economy is such that if people don't go out to labor, they're not going to find anything to eat. And so it has worked in other climes, but it's not working for us because in other climes they have provisions. Okay, stay home, your food is guaranteed, your health is guaranteed, but for us there is no guarantee like that. So what that tells us is that that one size fits all approach is not going to work for us, because over 60% of people in Nigeria have to go out before they get their daily bread. And so this full lockdown is not likely to work for us. Maybe what will work for us is intermittent lockdown. You lock down, you lift it, you lock down, you lift it. Social distancing is one of the things they have asked us to do. Most homes, families, father, mother, 4 children are living in the same room. How much of social distance? Initially, we started with 3 feet, arm's length. Now we have said additional 3 feet in one room. That is, I don't know the square meter. So how does that play out? So what that to my mind say, well, what the government has done is good, is fantastic, is well intentioned, but for us where we find ourselves, is not likely to be followed or obeyed, because one, our living conditions does not warrant the kind of social distancing, even the self-isolation. A father and mother living in one room, where is the extra room for the isolation? Where is the room for social distancing? So if I stay at home and obey government, and I have no idea of where my next meal is going to come out from, so I make a decision. Do I stay and die of hunger, or go out and get food? So what they have asked us to do, as good as it is likely to cause more problem, and more people are likely to die of hunger and other things than the pandemic itself. For example, if you say lockdown, it means pregnant women can't go for antenatal care. We didn't think about that, and that is important. We already have problem with more women dying at delivery. Now they can't access antenatal care. Now children also, because of lockdown, can't go for their immunizations, their vaccinations against vaccine preventable diseases. Now we didn't think about that. So more people will die from preventable diseases because they couldn't go for immunization or vaccine. More women are likely to die in labor because they couldn't access antenatal care. Even people with chronic diseases, hypertension, diabetes, they are going to run out of stock. Another example, tuberculosis. Now somebody that is at the intensive phase, 2 months, everyday drug for 2 months, and then the other phase of 6 months, making 8 months of treatment. Now there's lockdown. How will that person have access to the drugs? And then you come back with resistant variant of that disease. So it's a good one, well intentioned, but the circumstances around us is not going to make it work like it's working for them in the West. So what that means is that the one size fits all will not work for us. Can we look inwards and say what can work for us? Because using the sociological perspective, there are illnesses like this in the past, and traditionally there is a way of handling it. So can we come together and look at our culture? How can we solve this within the circumstances of the challenges that we have, bearing in fact that social distancing is very difficult to practice, bearing in mind that economically most people are affected because they have to go out and get their daily bread. Without prejudice, I think that the existing task force is not realistic enough, because we are only, the way it is, we are only looking at the curative part. We have forgotten the preventive aspect, and we should work more on the preventive aspect so that we can curb the trend of the spread. And so, to my mind, I think health promotion experts are needed. Experts in water and sanitation, because all we are talking about has to do with water, wash hands. How can people get potable water? So experts in water and sanitation are needed. We've had people who have recovered, and when they tell us their success story, they talk about how they use one fruit or the other, one herbs or the other. So it means we need a nutrition expert on that committee. We need those who know about herbs. So that, and then also very important, the religious leaders. Because whether we like it or not, we're a religious set of people. We listen to our pastors, we listen to our imams. So they are key stakeholders. That if all these come together and work with the existing team, we're going to be able to reach out to people. Then people will understand why they're asking us to do certain things. I mean, if you don't let me understand why to do something, that's why people are saying, disease is not for us, the disease is for the big people who are traveling, and have not traveled. I don't even have money to travel, so it's not my disease. Forgetting that we have passed that phase. That these big people we are talking about have domestic workers who cook, wash, drive their cars, who go in and come back to meet their people in the community. But you see, people's eyes are not opened to that aspect of it, to say, look, Mama Ayo, Baba Sikira may have worked for those people, may have gone to cut their grass, and now they are back to down, and then you are Mama Ayo's friend, you are Baba Sikira's friend, and it doesn't show on the face. The person will not know is infected. So when people get to understand the basics, and not just the paraphernalia of the things we are talking about. Yes, I also remember a group that needs to be involved in this task force are representatives of persons with disabilities. And it just occurred to me now that as we are talking, there's a special group, the hearing impaired, the deaf. They don't understand, they can't hear what we are saying, and they are part of us. Their disability is hidden. I mean, if you don't touch, it's you I'm talking to, the person will be looking at you, because the person cannot hear you, but the person is seeing, the person is dressed like I'm dressed, but the person does not know, the person is just seeing the picture of the virus, doesn't know what it stands for. And so, they're also part of us, and they're vulnerable because they can't hear what anybody does to them. How will they report? How will they say, I have mingled with this person? And so until those people are come to, and then we begin to say, how do we talk to our people in the language they understand? Because in every culture we have a corollary of this disease. So that when we come from what is known to unknown, then people understand why they should stay at home.